Was Gary Coleman married when he died? Welcome to A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Funeral, my intriguing, funny, outrageous, and sublime stories about the world of estates. And this week, this is a sad story. Gary Coleman, most famous for playing the role of Arnold.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
In Different Strokes from 1978 to 1986. What followed Different Strokes for Gary was not a good and happy story. In 1989, 3 years after Different Strokes came to an end, Gary sued his parents and his agent because they had been siphoning off money from his television appearances. He was successful and was awarded $1.3 million. But his adult life was punctuated by physical health issues, depression, and perhaps substance abuse. By 1999, Gary was bankrupt. And then there's his marriage, which is an important part of the story to come. In 2007, Gary met Shannon Price. They married very quickly. By 2008, they appeared together on the television show Divorce Court, apparently to try and work out their differences and save their marriage. It was not successful, and they divorced in 2008. Their tempestuous marriage was marred by charges of public misdemeanors and fighting in public. And even, in fact, in the year after their divorce, Gary was actually seeking an injunction against her. The very next year, 2010, Gary falls down the stairs of his house. He's taken to hospital. When he arrives in hospital, he's lucid and conscious, but by the next afternoon, he has fallen into unconsciousness and is on life support. His ex-wife, Shannon Price, is his power of attorney for personal care. So she is the person with the legal authority to, and she does, authorize removing Gary from life support, which she did, and Gary died the next day. And now begins the conflict. In 2005, before Gary met Price, he made a will, and that will made Anna Gray his estate trustee and beneficiary. Anna was his friend and his business manager. Then in 2007, he marries Shannon Price, and Gary makes a handwritten codicil, a change to his will, and he leaves everything to Shannon. And it's an odd note, handwritten. I have made this change of free will and was not coerced in any way. This I have done because of my personal selfishness and weaknesses, and I love her with all of my heart. Very odd words. Then in 2008, they divorce. Okay. By law in Utah, and also by the Succession Law Reform Act in Ontario, that divorce automatically revokes any gift in a will made to the ex-spouse if the will was made before the divorce. So, Shannon's out. Anna's in, because of the 2005 will. But then, Price argues in a Utah court that Coleman and she continued living together in his house, and therefore they were common law spouses, and so she was still Gary's wife, and so she should still inherit his estate. Bam! Shannon's back in. The judge in Utah ultimately denied Price. They were not spouses. Gary had, in fact, pursued a protective order against her in the year leading up to his death. They may have been living together in Gary's house, but they were not spouses. Anna Gray got Gary's ashes and inherited his small pension, inherited his home, and perhaps, and this is probably what the debate was about, got his intellectual property, royalties going forward. Is there a lesson to be learned in this? Yes, there is, and here it is, very simply. Keep your estate planning documents up to date, your will and your powers of attorney. Do not depend on the Succession Law Reform Act of Ontario to sort those things out for you, because they will not do a good job of it. So Gary did not update his power of attorney for personal care. And then, when he was unconscious in hospital, It was his apparently abusive ex-wife who had the legal authority to make the decision to unplug the machines and let him die. I'm pretty sure that was not what Gary would have wanted. I mean, I'm not saying he would not have wanted end of life. I'm saying he probably did not want that decision in Shannon Price's hands. Anna Gray has never revealed Gary's final resting place. In her words, Gary wanted a peaceful life. In death, I'm going to give that to you.